Federal judge has granted Hunter Biden's request to delay his trial on federal tax charges. So instead of starting next month, it will start in September. But the case for him against gun charges, June 3rd, will go forward in Delaware. But obviously, we also learned in regards to the gun case, they will be bringing up the infamous laptop and also have his former ex-wife and two lovers there. Also, in big news regarding Hunter yesterday, the House Ways and Means Committee obtained brand new evidence provided by those brave whistleblowers from the IRS, Gary Shapley, Joseph Ziegler, that can prove, they say, Hunter Biden committed perjury during his February the 28th deposition, lying to Congress not once, but 3 times under oath. We are pleased to bring in right now Florida Congressman Greg Steube to talk about what this means and what the future may mean in this lying here under oath. He's on the House Ways and Means Committee. Welcome in, Congressman. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good to see you.
You know, Hunter Biden, if your last name is not Biden, would have been obviously in jail for a lot of these crimes years ago. But here we are, and also now defying you know, lying in front of Congress. What's the next step here, and what can Congress do as so far as this testimony here?
Yeah, and remember, Michael Cohen went to prison for lying to Congress, so it's not beyond the bounds of the Justice Department to make charges on this, because it's a perjury crime and it's a federal crime, and he should be held to account for it. What we need to do now is to make a recommendation to the Department of Justice for a recommendation of prosecution of Hunter Biden for these 3 perjury counts. He lied 3 times in 3 separate occasions. One of them was whether it's texting his associate and the energy company. He said that I sent the text to the wrong person, which was a complete and absolute lie. Also, in discussing visa involvement, he said I'd never pick up the phone and call anybody for a visa, which we now have evidence is a complete and outright lie. And in misrepresenting neither Rosemont, Seneca, nor its associated bank accounts were under his control, also now we know and have evidence that that's a complete and outright lie. So we should do referrals for prosecution from the committee, and I'm assuming the chairman's going to do that, to the DOJ and see if they're going to prosecute Hunter Biden for the same thing that many people have been charged for lying to Congress.
It's so bold, and it's so there. I believe we have those lies to the committee again. I mean, if it's, you know, for some reason they think they can get away with it. I guess that's what Americans are watching all this in complete stunningness. I mean, you have liberal media trying to say that it's no big deal. These are huge issues. I know, Congressman Steube, that they gave him a little bit of a pass on one of the cases, but I do think the June 3rd case will be very revealing as well, with that infamous laptop now being put in as evidence. And you know, Special Counsel David Weiss didn't want to do it. They're very narrowed in the scope here, but that laptop has a lot of what you have been investigating as well, as far as influence peddling.
Yeah, and don't forget that the mainstream media said that laptop was Russian disinformation. You have 51 different intelligence officials that said it was Russian disinformation to try to distract from that. And now you have them using it as evidence in the court and admitting that it is actually accurate, all of the information that's on that laptop and all of the crimes that Hunter Biden has committed. And you're absolutely right when you started this segment and saying that if this was any other American that committed even half of these crimes, they would already be in prison. Multiply that. If that was a Republican member of Congress that has done any of that, you would be in prison as well. And you have a completely weaponized and politicized DOJ that has had gloves off and hands off as it relates to the Biden family, while going after conservatives all day long for minor things.
And there's so many other charges. We talk about failing to register as a foreign agent. We talk about possibly violations of the Mann Act over crossing lines. That laptop there, we know that the work that Congress has been doing, at least on the GOP side, if it was on the flip side, would have gone somewhere. It's incredible the stonewalling that they've been able to do and the roadblocks.
Well, and remember, the DOJ and the FBI slow-walked the charges from the IRS, and that's what Shapley and the other IRS whistleblower testified about. The most egregious tax crimes, the statute of limitations told, and they just waited and waited and waited to do anything about it, to try to tamp it down and not do anything about it. So the most egregious crimes that came with the biggest penalty, they sat on and let the statute of limitations toll. So now the state or the federal government can't even charge Hunter Biden for that. That's how atrocious and weaponized our justice system is under Joe Biden.